Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Chisme Chronicles Podcast.
Episode 46.
If you guys want to donate for a little audio thing where we can hit the let us know in the comments.
We're leaving our Amazon wish list. Also, if you want to buy my parents' Christmas presents for me, we'll leave that in there too.
So I'll be dropping the Amazon wish list in the comments. So we are the Chisme Chronicles fantastic duo. We're the number one channel for all Reddit content.
In your hearts.
In your hearts. For those that have seen other episodes, like we're the number one. If you haven't seen them, we are the number one only in the heart of the people.
Yeah.
Not by views.
No.
Not by subscribers.
Quality? Mm-mm.
Not by quality. Not by amount of videos.
Not by consistency.
Not by consistency. Just the number one in the heart of the people.
Exactly.
We're like the popular vote. Nah. I don't know where I was going with that.
We're the most write-ins, you know?
The most what?
The most write-ins.
Is that like voting?
Yeah. Like you can vote like, this person, or write-in. Yeah.
Yeah. Like all the big channels are like the people that are like actually like backed by someone. Yeah. And we're the Chisme Chronicles. This should be the next.
They got 100. They got 100 people writing them in.
Yeah.
That's good for something.
Yeah. Today we're doing petty revenge. 90% of our content is Am I the A-hole? We mix in some Today I effed up. And today we're doing petty revenge just to do something a little bit different too. Mm-hmm. It's Friday. We usually post Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm not even going to say that anymore. Just subscribe if you like that kind of content. We try to get 2 videos out every single week.
Yeah. We post Tuesdays.
Tuesday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Whenever. We're going to jump into the episode. I'm going to kick it off with my first petty revenge story. In high school, I was a bit like Hermione Granger in the worst way. I was just an awkward kid who understood the material as well as the teacher did. I was the odd kid who read history books during the summer for fun. I'd constantly be raising my hand in class with the answer looking for validation. That kind of behavior got me picked on quite a bit by a certain group of students in my history class. They teased me. Oh my God. They teased me mostly behind my back, but they weren't above cheating off me on the tests as they were difficult. And they knew that I knew the answers. Very few of my test scores in this subject were below 100%, as history was and is a passion of mine. Initially, I was flattered, but over the semester, I got this sinking feeling of being used, as these same kids didn't show me respect in any other way. Our family oh my God. Can't even read. I'm busting a Kaylee today. Our final history exam was a 50-question multiple choice test that would be worth 30% of our grade. The stakes couldn't be higher. The teacher wrote the questions to be tricky. On the day of the final, I scanned through the tests in a few minutes. I knew the material and felt confident. My peers on either side of my desk were watching to see how I'd answer. Their neighbors were in turn discreetly watching them. It seemed as if the entire side of my class was hanging on my answers. I answered the first 3 questions accurately. Then I went for the almost correct answer every other time. This resulted in a 54% score. I was careful to let the other kids see my test. Then when I finished, I waited and stared at the wall with my test still in front of me. The time was running out and my classmates all began nervously turning in their tests until only a couple of students on the other side of the room remained. With 5 minutes left, I stood up abruptly, crinkled my test into a ball, and threw it into the garbage. I was trying to be dramatic. It worked. You've never heard such a stunned silence. I quickly grabbed a new test from the table. There were a couple still there because of missing students. With a shocked smile, the teacher said, "There's only 5 minutes left." I didn't care. I had spent the period memorizing the correct answers. With no time to spare, I answered the questions in a complete whirlwind. A, B, C, A, B, C, B, 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 D, D, C, A, B, B. My friends told me later that everyone was staring. I didn't have the bandwidth to see it. With 10 seconds left, I turned in my test. The kids that had cheated off of me looked pale and sickly, in a state of shock. They knew that I screwed them over. They just didn't know how badly. There was nothing they could say or do. I was one of 3 students that had an A in that class that semester. The average grade was in the low 60s. That low grade for my classmates ended up knocking several kids out of the running for valedictorian several years later. Oddly, I was treated with noticeably more respect after this, and I wasn't cheated off of again, as far as I could tell.
That's awesome.
Got him.
That's awesome.
The last part, I was like, he's like, so like what? They were freshmen or sophomores maybe or something? But like if you're going for, because he's like, oh, that low grade knocks some of them out of the running for valedictorian. Either you're at a tiny school or that doesn't make any sense. Because like if you're kids that are going for valedictorian, like they're hitting that from like the beginning. Mm-hmm. So I don't see any of them as being like freeloader, like cheaters, and then all of a sudden, wait, I'm going to be valedictorian, and then be all intense in AP classes.
I feel like I know like a lot of kids that were going for like, you know, maybe not valedictorian, but like wanted like over a 4.0 or something, you know what I mean? And it's just like there was one, like either history was just like not their thing, or science was not their thing, or whatever, or like there was this one teacher that like nobody could get an A in their class or whatever, and then you're just like, well, I gotta, like I have to do it, so I know that I can cheat off of this person, so I'm just gonna cheat off of this person, because else I'm never gonna pass this class.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's like a common thing that I would see.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you ever cheat?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was, I always cheated at, what was it? Oh, chemistry. I hated chemistry.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. And also, yeah, like I couldn't do it. And I just like, I didn't put any effort towards it because I hated that class and I didn't like that teacher at all. So it's just, I mean, everybody was giving everybody answers. You
know? I didn't like chemistry either, but I never cheated.
Did you not?
No, I cheated.
Okay,
yeah. There are a couple times.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say where. High school, middle school, college.
To be fair, I never cheated on tests, I think. Because I was just like, because what I would do was genuinely, I would cheat on the worksheets and assignments, but then I would genuinely sit there and be like, this makes sense. You know what I mean? Like I would
just didn't have time to do it.
I didn't want to.
Yeah.
To be honest, I had the time. I just didn't want to. Like I was just being lazy and whatever. But then I'd be like, okay, this makes sense. And then I would like not do as good on the tests, but like I would pass because like I would take the time to like, yeah. Do
you remember like, I remember in high school, like freshman year, you would take Algebra 1. I mean, at least here in Arizona, or you took Algebra 1.
I took Algebra 2.
In freshman year? Mm-hmm. Oh, you took Algebra 1 in middle school though?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't do that. I just went Algebra 1, Algebra 2, geometry, and then math analysis. Mm-hmm. But you didn't. Oh no,
I tested into Algebra 2. That's what it was. And
then so what, did you only do 3 years of math?
No, I took what was it? Because then I took the dual enrollment thing my senior year
at college or something. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because I know you only have to do like Algebra 1 and 2 and maybe geometry. I know that the 4th math class you don't have to do it, but if people that want to go straight to university, they had to. I think they had to take that one.
Yeah, you're right.
But anyway, I just remembered being in like freshman like algebra, and like you're like, you know, paying attention. If you like looked at a fly for 2 seconds and then went back to the board, lost.
Yeah.
And then I just remember, like, it reminded me of that panic of, I remember I was like following, okay, y equals m1 half mx plus b, or whatever the formulas were. And then I was like get distracted for a second, and then you'd go back and she'd like be going on another problem. You're like, like, oh my God, if I miss it, I'm not gonna understand it. And you have to ask your friend for help and give me the notes, but you had to. I would like watch and then kind of would click and like, oh, thank God, I'm back on track.
Dude,
I would get so scared.
I grew up without technology, but this is one area that like I cannot relate to you on, because I already had like a phone and stuff. There was this app. I can't remember what it was called.
Cheaties?
But basically, dude, that's what it should have been called. Basically, you would it was like an app, and you would like activate the camera or whatever. You would allow access to the camera. You would scan your problem, and it would show you the step by not even just the answer.
Because it would break down the math.
It would break down and show you like what you needed to do, and if you tapped on each step, it would give you the explanation of how it. So like, I was always like pretty decent at math, and like if I ever got lost or whatever, I would just do that, and then like I didn't need the answer. I just need to know the steps. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Or like what did I miss?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And yeah, I that would have been incredible if I had that.
100% on every assignment, because like even I would do it by myself, and then I would check it with that thing.
Yeah, because you needed to learn it, because you needed to pass the test.
To test, yeah.
Yeah, you know. But math was always like my favorite.
Yeah.
And history and math. Like,
I loved history.
Because like I'm like really good at math. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I don't remember all the formulas now,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like it came easy to me. So I was like, I liked math, but I hated English.
I loved English.
Oh, dude, I hated English. Dude.
I loved it.
Oh my gosh, I hated it. I hated it.
Yeah.
I hated like researching, writing citations.
Okay.
Like,
To be fair,
oh
I hated
my
like
gosh.
I hated that each like writing assignment was like 2-week long process of like you got to do, you know, your rough draft.
I
and,
do it
like,
in the
your
last 2
thought
days.
Dude, I would always just do it in the last day. But I loved like, you know, like doing like reports on stuff or whatever. Just
Yeah,
like I hated all the steps of like, oh yeah, what is your thought bubble and your rough draft and your second rough draft, and then you got to like peer review. And I was like, I can't.
So that sucked. Science was like, it was like okay, you know, it was like kind of cool because I liked like facts, you know, like, but I didn't like chemistry.
Yeah,
like
I hated chemistry.
Like I like math, but I didn't like the chemistry part. Like that was so stupid.
It depended on the science, because each year was like totally different.
What do we have normally? It was like science,
Biology
English.
you have to take for
but like that's a science,
gotcha,
right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
And then English, math, and then like history / social studies.
And then 2 electives.
It was just two electives.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
it was cool though. It was fun.
Yeah.
High school was fun.
All right. Second story. This one is in the theme of the month, Christmas theme. Okay. Christmas gift revenge. This was about 23 years ago. My husband was lousy at giving gifts. He would get me what he wanted for himself. That year, I came home to a large box wrapped up about 10 days before Christmas. He said it was for me. He was so excited. Mind you, we have always been pretty broke. So we, or should I say I, always thought our always bought our children and his greedy family Christmas gifts. We always did without. For some reason, I wasn't that excited about this gift. Intuition. Well, Christmas Eve comes around and we open gifts. He gets all excited, telling me that I'm going to love his present. I open the box to find a shop vac.
A what? Oh my god.
A shop vac is like an industrial grade like vacuum.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had hardwood and linoleum, so I always swept and mopped and had no need for it. He told me it was wonderful, because it cleans up the garage, his domain, and even picks up water. And he said it was great because he had already tried it before wrapping it up. I was pissed. He bought it for himself. I would have been happy with a $5 necklace that turned my neck green.
That's so stupid. Oh my god.
That night, I wouldn't even go to bed with him. He comes into the living room where I was laying down and told me to come to bed. I told him I wouldn't because I couldn't look at him. He tells me how I was extremely selfish because the gifts were what the family could use, not what we wanted. I laid there all night and plotted my revenge. I had to wait a year, but like they say, best served cold. I kept quiet and told nobody of my plan to revenge. 50 weeks later, I found it. I wasn't even looking for it, but it was staring right at me, as to say, here I am, and it is time. It was a huge box. I quickly purchased the gift and got some wrapping paper for it and hid it. I didn't want any sneaky peeks. Christmas Eve, while he's at work, I put the present under the tree. 2 rolls of cheap wrapping paper. I put some ribbon and a bow on it, and I had a nice weight to it. We start opening gifts, and I wait a bit. Finally, his eyes light up, seeing the big box and finding out it was for him. He was so excited. I told him that this is a gift I bought specially for him. He opens the box to find a case of toilet paper. I then quoted him. Christmas was what we wanted, Christmas is not for we want, but what we need for the family or could use. We all wipe. He was furious. He complained to his brothers and everyone. My family and his brothers told him that he deserved the toilet paper. To this day, my husband, no husband in my family will ever get a vacuum cleaner for their wives as a gift again.
Yeah, that's so funny. That's what I hate. That's what I hate about Christmas. Mm-hmm. Like, well, I hate when people turn Christmas into that.
Yeah,
like that kind of, like, you know.
Oh, like
all angry and like,
yeah.
I got you a vacuum, and then, you know what I mean? Like,
to be fair, I would be pretty upset.
No, not that she's angry about what he did, but it's just like that whole I don't know, just everything about that. Like,
yeah.
Okay, cool. Like, all right, well, like she said, like, just give me a $5 little necklace, just something
that's
special
for me, something that made you think of me.
But it's like, no, I got this vacuum. I already tried it out. It works. It's all freaking dirty already. Can't even return it, you know?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
And it was like for himself.
Yeah, for himself. And then, you know, I mean, her petty revenge, I mean, I think it's fun. I think her petty revenge is funny, but
it's perfect. Yeah.
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 But they're like, oh, we don't get anything but his greedy family. I don't know. It's a funny ass story though. Mm-hmm. I think it's funny, but I just
Yeah. Well, she said that they never like buy each other Christmas presents or whatever, but just because like they buy them for their kids and his family, because like whatever. But I don't know. So like I get it. Like I would have been super butthurt, like to be like, oh my gosh, like you were able to afford to get me something that's great.
Yeah.
Like anything, you know what I mean? And then it's a big old box. Like, holy smokes, what I get
a shop vac, dude.
Freaking shop vac. That's why I always get pissed off whenever like people. I feel like that happens to like moms a lot. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, like, what do you get for Christmas? I got an air fryer.
What did you get for Christmas? I got an air fryer.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like not.
It's like, because it's like, okay, like you gave her a cooking appliance. You know what I mean?
I will say this.
It's like a house gift.
Well, I will say this. I would get Gato, like, she's been wanting like a badass blender. She's been telling me that, like, oh, we want to get one of those, like $300 or something.
Yeah.
And like, if I got that for her, like, I don't care about it. We have a freaking blender that is still, you know, still blending shit.
Sure. Yeah.
Not incredible, but it's still doing. If I got her for her, she'd be like, yes, I can make the green juices that I want and like all this stuff.
Yeah.
So.
That's fair.
But if like, because I know that she's been like asking, not like, I mean, obviously if she really wanted, she could go get it. But we're like, do we really need it though? Do we need to spend $300 on a badass blender? Like, it would be cool, but nah. And then we move on. Yeah. But like, if I got it, I know she'd be excited.
Yeah.
But if I'm like, air fryer, so you can make chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
You know, like, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You
know? Or like, oh, we need a new vacuum. So like, I got you a new vacuum. And it's like, no, we just needed a new, you know what I mean? Like, like, no, that's terrible.
Yes. It's like, no, we need one. Not that I need one. Like, that's not my special gift.
Yeah.
You're like, what do you mean? You're the only one that uses it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, that's actually part of the problem, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got you what you wanted. Oh my God.
So the house isn't disgusting. Like, okay, cool, thanks.
Ah, dude, that's funny. That's funny. And she's like, I would have just been happy with a necklace that turned my neck green.
And then
which ones are those, by the way? What's the stuff that makes your neck green?
Oh, I don't know what it is.
Because it's not silver, so it's got to be just metal.
I think it's anything like fake, anything that's like coated or whatever with like fake stuff. Because like, obviously like silver and silver plated things are the things that are like real. Yeah, silver won't do it. My ring is silver. Yeah, or even silver plated. It's like cheaper, but it's like, you know, it's not gonna rub off.
Yeah, the silver is what's touching you, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But like when it's like fake gold, it's like, what is it? It's like a zinc or something. It's something. And then that will make your your neck green.
I always buy cheap earrings just because like I lose them. And like, I don't know.
Because you're broke?
Because I'm broke. And they always turn my ears green.
They do?
Yeah. Well, because I like shower with them. If I took better care of them, they wouldn't. But I just like never take them off and I like shower with them.
But what does it do though? Like it makes your like a little green spot? Yeah. I've never seen it.
It just like dyes your skin a little bit green. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Okay, brag.
Huh? Oh, never had that problem before. Never had to buy fake stuff before. About that lamp that's over there is gold. You know, like the little bronze one or whatever. Fake? What do you mean fake gold?
He has a lamp with like solid gold legs.
Yeah, solid gold. All right, let's see. Which one do I want to roll with? Which one did I say I was gonna do? Oh yeah, this one. Okay, so this one's like. It's also the long petty. You know how yours was like a year long and it was with the husband? Kind of similar, but... All right, here we go. Also Christmas. This is not our Christmas episode, by the way.
No.
We just happy to find these funny stories. Okay. It says, this is a story about my mom and the absolute depths of pettiness she could sink to. Growing up, we could never put lights on our Christmas tree. My parents would always say it was a fire hazard and would recount a story about one of their first Christmases together when their tree caught fire. Apparently, my dad had fallen asleep on the couch and was woken up to the kitchen and living room filled with smoke. He woke up my mom and got her and the dog out of the house, then ran back inside to check things out. He came out a few minutes later with the tree wrapped in a blanket and threw it into a snowbank, saying it had caught fire. Ever since they had no lights on the tree. They had a no lights on the tree rule to prevent a repeat occurrence. So my whole life, we never put lights on the tree, despite nearly everyone else we knew, including both sets of grandparents, putting lights on their trees. I'd occasionally question my parents about it and would always get the same fire hazard story. My mom did go to some lengths to make up for it, though, with a lot of colorful glass balls that would catch the light, as well as other reflective ornaments. Anyway, years pass and now I'm an adult. One year I'm talking to my mom and the tree fire story comes up. She chuckles and asks if I'd like to hear the real story. Turns out that night many years ago, the tree did not catch fire. What actually happened was my dad decided to fix himself something on the stove late at night. He fell asleep on the couch with the pan still on, the hot burner, and it eventually began to smoke, waking him up. After he got my mom out of the house and realized what caused the smoke, rather than take the tongue lashing about the ruined pan and irresponsible stove use, he decided to pin the blame on the tree. A few theatrics later, and he thinks he's gotten away with it. He even brought the burnt tree back inside the next day, saying it must not have burnt much because it still looked all right. He might have pulled it off too, had he not done more than just throw the ruined pan into the trash can. Mom found it in the trash the very next day and put two and two together pretty quickly. She could have nailed him to the wall right then and there, but she decided to play the long game and didn't say a word. See, it turns out she never cared that much about lights on the tree. It was my dad that really liked them. So next year and every year thereafter, when they were decorating the tree and he'd go to put the lights on, she'd remind him that they couldn't put lights on the tree because of that time it caught fire. I don't think she ever intended for this to be a long-running thing, but my dad was stubborn to a fault and never admitted it was really the pan. So every year she kept his lie going, knowing he was the one paying for it. She did eventually tell him the truth some 30 years later. He had developed cancer and it was his last Christmas, so she decided to come clean. He just laughed and laughed about it. She gave him the option to do lights on the tree that year, but by then he'd had more years without it, a lit tree than with, and had grown to prefer the tree the way we always decorated it. It was like at the end of like his last, and I was like, oh, you know what? I actually knew all along, and it was like a thing. He's like, well, I'm not gonna admit to her. It was a pan. It was a freaking tree.
Yeah.
You know, so I could every year he's like, oh, let's put trees on. She's like, well, remember it could catch fire.
Yeah.
Like
just trying to force him to admit it.
Every year he could have come clean. Like, all right, this is what happened.
It's like a test of his willpower every single year.
Yeah, and so every year he's like, oh, damn it. Like, I can't come clean. I can't tell her the truth.
And I like that he would try every year. Like, what?
Yeah,
bring out the lights. And she's like,
yeah, exactly. Because he could have just been like, look, I want to put the lights on. This is what happened. It was a freaking pan. I fell asleep. Okay, I'm sorry. It was me. And she's like, I know it was you, Roger.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not
honey.
wrong. Yeah.
Oh, honey, just go ahead and put the lights on, you silly goose.
Yeah.
I knew all along. And he's like, Kathy, why don't you tell me? And she's like, oh, Roger. I tell Roger and Kathy. And then it would just, whatever. But he was like, no.
Yeah. And she took, at least it's very sweet that she told him, like at the.
I know.
Yeah.
And I was expecting the story. When I read it, it almost felt like a movie at the end. Like, oh, and so he put the lights on for the last time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, nah, it's fine. I've gone 30 years without it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
That is very sweet.
But it also reminded me of this one time. that like when it was our, let's see, it was our second year.
Mm-hmm.
The year is 2009.
Ooh.
Actually, it was 2008. It was our second year living with me and my roommates and I, and here in Phoenix, and I don't remember what I was gonna make, but I went to the kitchen and I turned on the stove, put the pan on there, put some oil, and then like I went and I put it on high. I was like, I want the oil to heat up fast so I can do what I got to do.
Mm-hmm.
But then I went into my room for whatever reason, forgot about it.
Oh
It's probably been like, maybe between 5 and 10 minutes or something. So it got so hot that what happened exactly? No. I don't think it caught fire. I can't remember. But for sure, all of a sudden I hear yo, Roman. It was my friend and my roommate, Adrian.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and so he screams my name and I'm like, yo, what happened? And it kind of like, oh, I kind of remember like, oh crap. I run out there and there wasn't like a flame. I don't really remember there being a flame, or maybe he put it out or something, but then maybe there was though, because the cabinets, it's like the stove in the microwave and the cabinets next to him were like stained black.
Well, oil burns and it'll burn and the smoke is black.
Okay. Well, yeah, there was smoke everywhere. There was smoke everywhere. Beep, beep, beep. Freaking smoke alarm. We opened all the windows and the doors. I was all fanning it out and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I was like, it was like hard to wipe the black smoke. It was like a little bit annoying to wipe.
Yeah.
I would say I cleaned it up, but
I
don't remember seeing like a fire, like if it all of a sudden caught fire.
Yeah.
But it was like freaking smoking like crazy.
That's horrible.
Oh my gosh, that's the only time that happened to me.
And you never confessed? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. It was a tree. Yeah.
This is just dumb too, and I'm not gonna I didn't read the story obviously because it wasn't like that good, but it just reminded me also of a story where this guy finds out that his girlfriend's cheating, or his wife or whatever cheated on him, and then they made up, but then they go on vacation, and he sees the cheating text in her phone when she's in the shower, because he just went to so basically, okay,
new text or the old ones.
So she was cheating on him with this one dude, right? And then they made up, and then they go on, and years later they go on vacation, and she's in the shower. He goes to look at just Google search something unrelated, just hey, he couldn't find his phone, so just use Google, and he sees that she's still texting that same guy that she had cheated with originally. And then she's still cheating with him.
Oh my god!
And they're on vacation, so he deletes the messages and then blocks him, but doesn't say anything, because obviously then she's gonna go look at her phone and be like, "What the hell?" And she's gonna know that he did it. But if she says anything, then you know what I mean. She's giving herself up,
right?
You know, so it's just oh, I thought that was so perfect.
But at the same time, though, I mean, she could get a burner phone. She could unblock him, and then she could just say
no. So he was done. Okay. Yeah,
okay.
he just did it to see just because then she's super nervous and trying to be super sweet to him for the rest of the trip. But then the second that they touched down back in wherever they're from, then he was hey, whatever. He just ended up blocking her and moving all of his stuff out.
They were married.
Yeah, and then he served her divorce papers.
Dude, that's so crazy. I mean, why do people I don't understand, obviously,
yeah,
things
I don't
happen,
know. People
right?
cheat. People are stupid.
Yeah, things happen. But the one that I guess I understand less is the ongoing
cheating. Yeah,
cheating one while, for example, in this scenario,
having a second relationship basically
for a long period of time.
Yeah,
because okay. If somebody's well, for whatever reason, I'm not getting what I need, or it's not working out with my husband or my wife or whatever, and instead of breaking up and then starting a new relationship, you cheat, and okay, all that stuff is bad, and even if it lasts a couple of months, and obviously it still sucks, but then they're you know what, I'm gonna break it off with my husband because I want to be with this person, and then they move on and they have a different life. Mm-hmm. But this one is
years.
This is I cheated. Okay, I'm sorry. And it's well, now it's been, even if it's been 3-4 years, what's the, now you just want to have two relationships. Mm-hmm. What does your husband what do you want from your husband and what do you want from the other guy? Like, why do you want to be with
or just like too scared people? To like, I feel like, I don't know if this is like whatever, this isn't like a crazy new perspective, but I feel like a lot of times people are just like afraid to be the one that makes, and I say this because I find this with myself, they're like afraid to be the one that like makes the decision, you know what I mean? So like the person to like finally cut it off or whatever, because it's just like, oh, well, what if I made the wrong choice? But if you don't make a choice at all, then it's never your fault, you know what I mean? So like that's something that like I confronted with myself, and I feel like that's something that I find even with like friends and stuff that I've like talked to about it. It's like, well, I just don't want to be the one to like.
But you are making a choice of being with the other person,
right? For sure, yeah. But just like, then you still have like the like backup security of like, which is obviously wrong. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's crazy.
Know. Okay, my actual story now.
The lesson here is don't turn on the stove and walk away.
Never turn on the
stove. Don't cook. Just
build a fire. This episode is
sponsored by DoorDash.
No, build a fire in your backyard. That's it. Period.
Yeah.
We're going back to the old days. Okay. Last story. I purposely farted in front of a guy at the gym because he wouldn't take no for an answer. So a few things. I go to the gym to work out and decompress. I don't see it as a place to be social. I wear large over-the-ear headphones. I was at the gym and I just finished one of my sets for my deadlifts when a guy walks over. This is something I'm used to, despite how much I dislike it, and he starts talking to me about how I'm able to pick up, about what I'm able to pick up, and he's flirting. I'm polite and wait for the proper moment to end the conversation. When he asks for my number, I decline. He keeps talking and going into the usual shtick of, why not, and come on. At that point, I'm very uncomfortable and also annoyed because my workout timer has already gone off and it's past the time for me to start my next set. I put on my big girl pants and tell him he's making me uncomfortable and I just want to finish my workout. Does he leave? No. He keeps talking now, going on about how he didn't mean it like that and he's not a bad guy. No actual apology to be found. Now, during the entire interaction, I've had to fart. I was being polite and holding it in until he left, but seeing as he's not, I think, well, I know a way to get him to leave. And he's still talking. I let it go. It's silent but rather smelly. It only takes about 2 seconds for him to catch a whiff. He stops talking and the face he makes is too much that I have to bite my lip to stop from laughing. When he gives me a look of, are you serious? And then finally leaves, and I'm left to finish my workout. I'm left alone to finish my workout.
She's like, look, dude, I'm not interested. He's like, oh, why not though? I mean, come on. I'm a good guy. Come on, what's wrong? She's like, imagine. He's like, come on, Courtney. I know. Just been watching you work out. She's like,
dude, what a power move though.
Just power move.
Just get the F away from me.
Just get away.
I'm gonna stink bomb you away.
Yeah, ew. She's like a skunk. You know what I mean? She's like, yeah. Just like repellent. Yeah. She's like,
dude, what a power move. I love her for that.
Yeah. Why do sometimes people just don't get it, huh?
Yeah.
They don't get the hint. I mean, it's usually guys, you know.
Yeah.
That are,
I feel like guys, because obviously, like, I don't know, like, I feel like guys a lot of the time, like, they have like this like mentality of like, oh, she's playing hard to get. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like, no, I told you 4 times that I don't want you. You know what I mean?
But like, where does that even come from, dude? Like, where does it? Like, if they're flirting with you,
yeah,
and maybe I'd be like, oh, maybe there's a little bit of a playing hard to get game, but it's like, okay, I know you're into me, or like it's. That's the only thing that would make sense to me as like you're playing hard to get, but because I you're kind of flirting with me also. But if I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, no, I'm not interested, I'm working out, like there's nothing.
I genuinely feel like it's like cultural and something that starts when we're really young. It's the same as like when girls are told like oh, he's being mean to you because he likes you.
Dude,
and then it's like oh, like, and like I feel like a lot of times like little boys will be like, tell their older male figures like, oh yeah, she doesn't like me. It's like, you just have to keep trying. It's like, no, she doesn't like you.
Dude, that's so true. I never thought about that.
I really feel like it's culture.
I never thought about that.
Yeah. Like I used to like I don't know. Like I love having the opportunity to tell little girls like, hey, like, no, he's not being mean to you because he likes you. You know what I mean? Like I tell like when I used to tell one of my little cousins that when she would come around when she was like younger, it's like, no,
so
like
crazy.
you have to tell him to stop. Like he's being a jerk. You know what I mean? It's like he's not,
That's so wild, dude. Because like that is 100% the culture. Like that's what most people in America can agree with that. I think most people could agree with that.
You just gotta keep trying, dude. You just gotta keep showing up. You gotta show up at her window with a, whatever. Like that's like it's in the movies. It's everything. It's cultural, and it's like no, like take no for like men are almost like taught not to take no for an answer.
Yeah, crazy. Especially like the he's being mean to you because he likes you. So it's like why do girls like jerks? Oh, I mean I don't know if that. I don't know. There's something there.
I feel like that.
There's something there.
I feel like that plays into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even the like, like I kept pining, like it's in the, like even the movies, like I kept pining after her for all of high school and she told me no 100 times and now we're married and we have kids and it's like, hey, like that's not always like that's not okay.
Yeah.
Like,
wait, what's not okay?
Like she said no 400 times. You know what I mean? It's like, sure, if you end up married with kids and whatever, but like if she said no 400 times, like you should have accepted the first one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and then she'll circle back if she wants you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like you can keep trying, sure, but not like, but like over a period of time.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. You can keep trying, but not like let me keep. You said no
Not
right
like
now.
in
Cool.
this
Maybe
instance.
in a week and a half from now, or maybe in 2 weeks from now.
Exactly.
I'll say hi to you, and maybe I'll try to strike up conversation. Like,
Exactly.
God damn, she's
Like,
can't
trying to
get.
be
I can't. She
friendly.
can't get her warm up to me yet.
Yeah.
And then because obviously, when I first started talking to Caro, she didn't like me like that right away. But I just had to like
over a period, sure. You can keep trying over a period of time,
but
but
like in this sense,
yeah, not like oh she said no right now, but you're gonna love going to dinner with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like that's like I don't know. I've never had anything like
you're gonna love going to dinner with me. I'll take you to Red Lobster. Have you seen the thing that was going around social media? Like it's like these are like all the places that a guy cannot take a girl on a first date.
And
it was like you can't go to Red Lobster, you can't go to Olive Garden, like you can't go to Cheesecake Factory.
The OG was Cheesecake Factory. Did you see the video that started that?
No.
It was like some girl. She's like a bigger girl and she's like whatever and she's like on this date with this dude and the dude like she starts recording him. They're in his car. Okay.
Oh, I think I saw that one.
And she was like, I'm not getting out at like Red Lobster because they were at Cheesecake Factory. He's like, I'm not getting out. Like, how dare you bring me out? And he's like, dude, I picked you up. Like, you were ready for a date. And I think he also said like, you didn't exactly look like what I thought you were gonna look like. You know what I mean? But he's like, but I was respectful and I wanted to like pick you up and go on this date and like have a good time. And she's like, Cheesecake Factory is not acceptable. Like, I'm not the type of girl that's gonna go to Cheesecake Factory on a first date.
What's going on with?
She was saying like no chain restaurants or something.
What is going on? Like, I don't, what is it? And then like all these people are like agreeing with it or something.
It's like it's like a new thing that's picked up. It's called like, it's like Sprinkle or whatever. It's like this girl that started it and she's like, oh, you gotta like, which like, okay, like some of the things I understand what she's saying. It's like,
I feel bad for the people in the dating world.
It's like if you want to get picked up on a first date, then you like one of the things that she says to do is like, oh, like ask him what time will you be here? Like to make it clear that like I'm getting picked up, you know what I mean, or we're not going on this date, which I feel like is fair, you know what I mean. But then she does other stuff. It's like, oh yeah, like if he takes you to a chain restaurant, you just don't get out of the car because you're not the type of girl to go to a chain restaurant.
Okay, cool. Then you get out of my car and walk your ass home.
Exactly.
You're gonna be disrespectful.
Yeah,
fine.
Call an Uber. Yeah.
Yeah, call an Uber. I'll just go home. You can stay in my car. Beep beep. Lock it.
Or like, I don't know, just like dumb stuff. Or like if somebody asks you to like go Dutch on the first date bill or whatever, then just be like, what did she say? She like asked like, oh, if you need help covering the bill, I can help you. And it's like, no, I feel like it's clear that like, okay, because like, whatever. I also don't go on super expensive first dates, but I assume that if somebody asked me to go Dutch on a first date bill, that they're not interested, and then I'm splitting it and it's fine. You know what I mean?
What?
I feel like if somebody, because like I don't go on super expensive like first dates. Yeah. So I feel like if somebody asked me to split the bill on a first date.
What's a super expensive first date and what's a normal bill?
Like anything under $50.
Yeah. So still, even if it's $45, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that.
To split it?
Yeah. If somebody's like,
I assume that you're not interested if you ask me to split the first date bill.
Why?
Because like I feel like a guy's paid for the first date, and like I always like, because like I'm also somebody that like is very very 50-50. Like once we're like established like in a relationship, like you got dinner this time, I got dinner next time, you got drinks this time, I got drinks you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. So first of all, let me just backtrack. First of all, the way that I see things and the way that I like kind of grew up is like, to me is super normal. Like, oh yeah, I'll go pick up a girl, we'll take her, I'll pay for dinner or whatever. But like now what I see is like basically like women, like girls or women abusing that. At least is what I see. Like the men's narrative is like, dude, like all they want is freaking free expensive ass food, and like then they not interested in you, and like it's just kind of like, damn, I freaking had to go on. I went on a couple, 4 dates this month, and each one was $80 because restaurants aren't cheap, and if you're getting like a glass of wine, you get $100 easily. So I just spent $400, and I don't know. I just like I know people personally that like have struggled with like, I'm like trying to meet people, and like it's so expensive, and they want a meal, and then I don't know. I mean,
I feel like genuinely, and like I know that this is like whatever, like a hot take for men specifically, but I feel like a lot of that is just like men being like butthurt about the way that dating works. Because like if I go on one date with you, it doesn't mean that I like you. Like I don't like most people that I've gone on one date on, with whatever.
Okay, but then so what I'm saying is that, okay, so if
I also, just to clarify, because I feel like this is gonna be the point, if I know I don't like you, I'm gonna offer to split it also.
Okay, but also, what if he's like, well, look, I'm not gonna keep spending $80 to go on all these first dates, and basically I'm just spending money like crazy, and it's just costing me money, and it doesn't cost the women anything, because for the ones, and I'm gonna say maybe the majority that are expecting to have things paid for them. So then, but then if you're like, well, let's go get coffee, let's go have brunch, or let's just go get like let's just go to the park, get an ice cream, and just kind of like get to know each other. And then it's going to cost you $10. $5 per ice cream and a walk in the park. Then cool. But yeah, I'll buy you an ice cream.
Sure,
you know? And then if she agrees to a second date, well then she's interested. She is interested. And it's not costing you $80 every single or $100 every single time.
Yeah.
But then if you're like, oh, let's go for an ice cream or walk in the park. And I'm not saying this is the case, because obviously I'm not in the dating world, but like from what I see on the guy's narrative, it's like, yeah, but then if you offer that, it's like, what? Like they're expecting like princess treatment. But then, so then the guys is like shoveling $100, and then they're not interested when it's like, well, let's go for a walk. Let's just go get a coffee. Let's like, and to see if we build up to like, okay, yeah, we do kind of like each other. Let's go to get dinner. And then, so every single first date is like cheap.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know, because I just said $50 just like to give like a range, but I almost always just do something like getting a drink or coffee or whatever for like a first date, just because also like I don't want to, because for me also I don't want to be like, if I'm on a first date with somebody and you get to a restaurant and you talk for 10 minutes and then you order food, you're locked in now for 30 minutes. And if that person, like if you realize you don't like them, you're still locked in for at least another 30 minutes.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you got to wait for the food to get there. You got to eat. It's awkward.
How do you bail? On a date?
That's why.
No, not even the dinner one. Even a coffee. Even
that's what I'm saying.
Let's go to Jamba Juice, or formerly known as Jamba Juice.
Yeah.
Jamba.
Yeah, I didn't know that, by the way.
No, yeah. Let's go to Jamba.
Yeah.
And then, what do you want to get at Jamba? I don't know.
I've bailed on dates after like 3 minutes.
But like, how?
I just go, okay, thanks, nice meeting you. That's it. You walk away.
But what do you mean after 3 minutes though?
I just realized I really didn't like the person.
But like, what do you do? What are you 3 minutes? What are you talking about?
You just go.
What are you talking about?
You go, thanks for coming. It was really nice to meet you. Like, I gotta go, and you give him a hug and you leave.
Dude, that's so savage. It's not, but like I couldn't do that.
Yeah, and then you just send a text after, and it's like, hey, like I didn't think we vibed, whatever.
After 3 minutes,
dude. Because like, and I say that because like in this particular instance, it was just the dude did something that made me like really uncomfortable that quickly. So I was just like, okay, thanks, bye. You know what I mean?
So then, Dude, comment down below. What's the fastest you've ever? Let's see if you can beat Kaylee. 3 minutes. Who's building a date faster than 3 minutes?
To be actually fair, it was definitely less than 10, but maybe around 7.
Okay, 7 minutes. 7 minutes in hell.
Yeah.
7 minutes in heaven. Comment down below. What's the fastest you've bailed on a date?
Yeah.
I want to see who can beat Kaylee. 7 minutes. So like
we're on a walk. Too.
I just like none of that makes any sense to me. Like I've never done.
Yeah.
Especially right now, like dating is so fast, right?
Yeah.
Like Tinder and the whatever and the Bumble and the blah 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 and the Christians farmers only and all this.
Plenty of fish.
Is that another one?
Yeah, but it's like one that nobody uses. It's an old one. It's like a website.
Oh, okay, okay. I mean? Yeah, it's just like so fast. And then you go like, oh yeah, let's meet up for like coffee. And then you roll up like, hey, what's going on? Nice to meet you. Handshake or a first initial hug. Hey, thanks for meeting me. And then you like order something, and then you're like, all right, well, thanks, I gotta go. Then that's just like whoever got rejected, whether it was a guy or the girl, is just like, oh, okay, bye. Like,
yeah. Well, yeah, then you just
that's
know.
so sad.
Well, yeah, but sometimes I mean, but also I feel like maybe this is why guys get like upset. But like, who cares? Like, I didn't like you. Why do you want me to keep spending time with you? You know what I mean? And I would expect a guy to do the same thing if I did something that immediately pissed them off and whatever, or they just didn't like me, or I looked different or whatever. You know what I mean? Then like, yeah, bail. You know what I mean? That's why I like a low stakes first date, like getting coffee. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess it's just like you don't care. You get to bail, right? Or whoever does it.
Yeah, if somebody bails on me, that's totally okay. Cool. You didn't like me. Please do not continue to sit here and pretend you do.
I just think of the person and like just be I'm ugly, like or whatever. It's just like it's like a emotional. So like for example. Dude, damn it! I wish I could find this video. I was watching a video yesterday or the day before yesterday, and it's these guys that make like, there are other groups like, Mr. Beast style of like guys that, friends that do videos and stuff, and they do a real life Tinder thing. So like the guy's standing there with a red button and the green. I want to find it because I didn't get to finish it. Yeah. And then like the girls are just walking up, and then he's like, sorry, and then they're like, oh, and then he's like, yes, whatever. And so you just. Like when you get rejected, where it doesn't affect you, but on the swiping or whatever. Yeah. But like in person, you're standing there, you're being judged.
Yeah,
dude, I just feel like I would feel so sad.
Yeah, too. I mean that's like the beauty.
I was rejected. I don't.
That's like the beauty of Tinder, right? Is like you never know if the other person rejected you, and also you're seeing so many faces that you don't even remember. Like you're like, oh, I hope this person matches with me, and then 2 seconds later you forget about them because you're seeing so many other people.
Totally.
So like,
or like people that'll set up stuff like that's like on their phone.
Oh my gosh,
just swiping right on everything.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Guys always complain about that too. It's like, oh, girls get so many matches on Tinder, and it's like, well, because these guys are like not even like if you're. Like, because these guys are just, like, swiping right on everybody. You know what I mean?
Everybody.
Like, anybody with boobs. It's like, okay. Like, okay, great. Like, that's why girls get
simpleton.
matches. Yeah. I don't know. But I had a gym story that I wanted to tell just to kind of like whatever.
Okay,
as a
circle back.
Note.
You are the a-hole.
I just love telling this story just because it was like this is the only like well, there's been a couple like little weird things that have happened to me in the gym, but this one's my favorite. And like it was just there was this dude because I was like a regular at like a gym in my hometown, right? And for a while I was going in the morning. And there was this dude that I would always see there, and like we started, and he was like a weightlifter because that gym had like they had a lot of weight, like actual like competition weightlifters that would go, and this one dude would go in the morning. He was also always there in the afternoon, so he would do 2-a-days, right? And I was like, I remember we started like giving each other head nods, and then sometimes like he would like fist pump me after like a good lift or something, and it was like cool. And I was like, all right, awesome, right?
I'm in with the heavy lifters.
I like almost never talked to him, and then the first like conversation that I had with him was I was like on the hip thrust, and this was like one of the ones with, it had like a little, because I know sometimes they're different.
He's like, let me spot you. He goes over you.
Dude, this is a hip thrust machine, right? So I wasn't just doing it like with the barbell.
Yeah.
And then whatever. So then, whatever. So it's like has a seat belt and a little seat, and then you like rack weights on the sides. And then he comes up and asks me how many sets I have left, and I tell him, And then he goes, okay. And so I finish up real quick, and then I leave all of my stuff there, and I go to get like something to wipe down the machine. And then he goes, no, you don't have to wipe it. I like the sweat.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, but I was already like right there, so I just did like a swipe. And he goes, no, it's fine.
It's fine.
And then
he's
dude, for the next like 2-3 weeks, every time I would go to use the hip thrust machine, which was a couple times a week,
he would go use it right after you.
He would always like, and it wasn't just that one. To be fair, sometimes it was like I don't know, like if I was on a.
He was following your sweat around.
Well, but like, okay, like if I think it's I attributed it to us kind of being a little bit friendly, because like, for example, if all the squat racks are full, you know what I mean? And then it's like, he's just like, oh, how many sets do you have
I'll
left?
ask my friend.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, that wasn't that
friend.
weird. But every time I had to use the hip thrust one was the one he would tell me not to wipe down. And I was like,
oh.
Are you sure?
Did you? Would you?
Sometimes I would, but sometimes he would already like
he was right there
on it. Yeah. And so then I was like,
oh my gosh. He would take off his shirt to make skin to sweat contact.
It was so, oh man. Damn. And I hated it because that was like my like one like kind of like gym
buddy.
Kind of like, we didn't really, I mean, he was like, we didn't really talk like a ton, but he would like kind of spot me for stuff, and I never had a spot before, so I would like never like do as much weight as I thought I could, so then I was like, okay, that's cool, that's nice, or like telling me that I could do a little bit more, and I'd be like, all right, a little motivational, but then he wanted my butt sweat more.
Booty sweat.
I was like, damn,
dude, there's a movie, I think it might be Tropic Thunder. What's it called?
I've never seen it, but I know. Yeah, it's called Tropic Thunder.
I thought it was that
where Robert Downey Jr. does blackface.
Yeah, he does blackface. Oh my gosh, that movie's so funny though.
I've never seen it. I want to see it.
Dude, it's so funny. And then he's for some reason he's doing the blackface character in because I can't remember. Oh yeah, they're filming. Oh yeah. They're filming a movie, right? They're filming a movie.
Okay.
And he's doing the blackface character. Mm-hmm. And then when they're like not shooting, he stays in character.
Okay.
And the other black guy that's there, he's like, bro, like, you stop saying that.
Yeah.
Like, you're not black.
Yeah.
But he's like all in character. He's talking about like, I don't know, soul food and stuff, and like, down by the bayou, and like if he was like in Louisiana or something like that. It's so ridiculous. But anyway, I think one of the guys on there, he's like a singer or a rapper, and he has like I thought there was something called Booty Sweat. Like he has a new cologne or something, or his new song is called Booty Sweat or something. Anyway, ridiculous.
That's funny. I gotta watch that movie.
It's a good one. Yeah, it's a funny one. Good stuff.
All right. Next time.
Cool. See you guys on the next episode. Peace.